Hello everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel World of Software Testing. So in our previous lecture we have discussed about the difference between functional and non-functional testing. In this lecture we are going to discuss about the smoke testing. So this is the most important interview question and getting asked in the interviews always. So definitely you must be prepared with such questions on smoke testing, sanity testing before going for the interviews. So let's start with the smoke testing. So the smoke testing is also called as a build verification testing, or sometimes also called as a confidence testing or the basic functional testing. The smoke testing is a type of software testing that determines whether the deployed build is stable or not. It acts as a confirmation of whether the quality assurance team or the QA team can proceed for further testing or not. So this is the main purpose of smoke testing, to check if the build is stable or not. So if it is not stable, QA is not going to do any further detailed testing. So this is the smoke testing. So smoke tests are the minimum set of tests run on the each build, and it is performed before any detailed functional or regression testing on the software build. So as I mentioned, if the software application build is not stable, then we are not going to perform as a QA. We are not going to perform any detailed or functional or regression testing on that particular build. So when the new build is completed, it is handed to the QA team for the smoke testing. So in this phase, only the most critical and core functionalities are tested to ensure that they yield the intended results. So as an early stage acceptance test, smoke testing adds a verification layer to determine whether or not the new build can proceed to the next stage or needs rework. So this is the main motto of smoke testing. So if you see the diagrammatic representation here, so we have the development or a coding phase. So after the coding or development is completed, there is a the DevOps team will create the new build here. So once the new build is created, it is passed to the QA team. So you can say this is a QA team, and then the QA team will first trigger the smoke testing on that particular build. So if the build is rejected, if it's not stable, and if the smoke testing is failed, then the build is sent back for fixing as the smoke test is failed, and there is no further detailed testing is done on that build. So if it is failed, then it is again fix and rebuild, and then again the QA will get the new build. So again smoke testing will be performed on that build. Then if it is passed, so let's say if the smoke is passed, then it can be transferred to QA for further detailed testing, or else it will be rejected. And if the smoke test is failed, it is rejected, and again it will be passed back for the rebuild, fix and rebuild. So this is the smoke testing diagrammatic representation. So during smoke testing, the QA will check for the link validations, the page navigation, the tab validation, GUI validation. So the link validation is nothing but so let's say if you have one application having the web page, if all the links in the web page are working or not, so that we can check in link validation. So let's say we have one X application here. Let's say this is a web page actually. So web page, we have this home page link here, we have the contact list, we have some different modules link here, we have different links available inside the application. So whether or not all these links are working as expected or not, so this is nothing but a link validation. Then second one is the page navigation. So here again there are some different links available which can take you to the next pages or next tabs, we can say. So let's say we have one X link here, and if we click on that link, it should navigate to the different pages. So that is nothing but a page navigation. The tab validation, again the similar thing. If some of the links is taking us to the different tabs here, then in case of this we can use the we can go for the tab validation. So we are validating those tabs. Then the next is GUI validation. So we are doing the random checks on the UI. So whether or not the drop down is working or not, the checkboxes are working or not, the radio buttons are working or not, that comes under the GUI validation. So generally the initial builds, whatever the initial builds comes to testers end are unstable, and once after several builds they start getting stable. So let's say here the first build is unstable, the second build, third build, fourth build, fifth build, sixth build. So let's say till this the builds are coming as unstable, and after certain time the builds are getting stable. And the smoke testing is can be performed by the testers as well as the developers. So the developers can install a build in their environment, in the dev environment, and then they can perform the smoke testing as well. So smoke testing is generally conducted only on the unstable builds. So here are some of the environmental issues observed in the smoke testing. So these are the common issues we get while doing the smoke testing. So the 401 page not found. So whenever we are trying to click on any of the page, it should not it doesn't navigate us to the required page, and the page is not found. So in that case it will throw such errors: 401 page not found, page not loading, and can't load the page, runtime errors. There are a lot of runtime errors we get in case of smoke testing. So let's see some of the advantages of smoke testing. So the early bug troubleshooting. So as the QA gets a build, the smoke testing triggers. So as we are performing smoke testing at the early phase, it helps us in troubleshooting the early bugs. It quickly evaluates the essential features at the initial stages of the project for the earlier corrections. Reduction of regression issues. So the newly introduced build is first tested to reduce the major flaws that can break the integration with the original material. So this is nothing but a reduction of regression issues. The third one is automation potential. The automated smoke testing can significantly reduce the testing time. So definitely, if the tests are getting automated, we can significantly reduce the testing time. Since the smoke testing is inherently quite simple and involves only a few specific scenarios. So as we know, the smoke testing is not a detailed testing. We are just verifying the critical functionalities in the application. So this is automation potential. The next is time and resources efficiency. The smoke testing verifies the stability of the delivered build to avoid any QA efforts that may otherwise be wasted. So and at the every unstable build we perform the smoke testing. So hence if the smoke testing is getting failed, we are not we as a QA are not getting we are not going to test any further testing on that particular application. So let's discuss about some of the disadvantages of it. The functionality coverage. The smoke testing does not cover all the functionalities in the application. Only certain part of the testing is done. So as we already know, we are just covering the critical and important functionalities of the application. It does not cover all the functionalities of the application, but it serves its purpose as we are just checking the stability of the build in case of smoke testing. The defect after smoke testing. The error may occur after implementing all the smoke tests. So yeah, again as we are not covering each and every testing in it, defect can occur in case of smoke testing even after the smoke test. Then the time consuming. So in case of manual smoke testing, it takes a lot of time to execute the testing process for the larger modules or larger application. Then the next is implementation issues with negative inputs. So it will not be implemented against the negative test or with the invalid inputs. So these are the drawbacks of smoke testing, and it usually consists of minimum number of test cases, and hence we cannot find other issues that happen during the testing process. So again, we have discussed this point as we are only covering the critical and important functionalities in case of smoke testing. So this is the most important testing type, which is the smoke testing. So thanks for watching this video. Hope you have liked this, and please do subscribe our YouTube channel for such more videos. In the upcoming lecture, we'll check into the sanity testing in more detail. Thank you.